Okay, so I took out the console here, this air vent, and then I gained access to this tab here. And on this side, I gained access to this tab by pulling back here, this whole section out. And then this portion pops out. This pulls out this way by lifting from around this area here and this area here. And I'm going to look at the heads-up wiring that's under here. Okay, since this portion is here, this is attached under it here. So I have to pull up on the cover. So you just kind of grab from each side and tug up, and now it's completely off. So I believe this will come out now. And notice it's tucked behind each corner here, so I'll have to put it back behind these areas to get it to fit right. That's what we can see up there. See the wires, goes in that area, and around, so that must be the connector for the heads up. I believe there's another one, but it's tied right into the harness. So four connectors, probably for surround, maybe surround, and then that one there. I don't know if I see another one though for it. The heads up has 2 connectors. Alright, well here's the top cover. There's no way to get it out from the top because of these, looks like screws, Phillips head screws. So on there and on here, so 3 locations to take that top cover off. So you have to take it off this way. You can see all the clips. And then here, here, there, and the bezel. So if you ever want to take the bezel off, you know that there's all those screws there. Yep, so that's basically everything I had to take off just to even check out the wires. The wires are there. I don't have any connector numbers to verify. I do have some colors now. I'll take some more photos of colors, and then I think the surround view is on this side. I just do not see any of the camera wiring. So at this point, I'm looking at the Acura website for the hood meter visor. So here I have the Acura website, and I'm looking for the switch for the multi-visor. So it just so happens that the advanced model has a different switch with the HUD. So this is the part number, switch assembly. It's a 35825 TYA X01, normally $75, it's $51 online. Here I searched for the head-up display. I think I searched for display, and it kind of came up as a HUD.
So this is it right here. There's some bracketry that is required to hold the heads-up unit, and you can either pay $1,500 or buy it from here for $1,000. You could also look online for it used, and you can see that it's pretty expensive to add this in unless you find a used part.
So now that I have an idea of what it's going to cost, I'm going to go ahead and order it, but I'm going to keep taking a look and seeing if I can find the 360-degree camera stuff as well, just in case I find some parts I can look for it and order it. So here it is. And other components. I'm also looking at all the other wiring for the 360-degree camera while I'm poking around, looking at all the other items and wiring the capped and stowed connectors. So I'm just trying to get familiar with the MDX and see what's there. You'll see a lot of the times in orange there are connectors that are stowed, and in black I'm actually figuring those are probably just jumped wires, while the orange ones that are wrapped are probably optional, maybe for lighting, maybe for the door harnesses. I'm not quite sure what they're for. Okay, here I took off the kick panel on the passenger side, and I'm taking a look at the wiring. Still looking for the 360-degree camera stuff. So right there is a bundle I'm thinking is the 360-degree camera, and there is some other orange wiring, some other units in the way. Also curious as to where the door harness meets the main harness. And as I'm looking here, I see this orange unknown unused connector. You can see right there in yellow, I believe that's the door harnesses that are coming through. And there are some other units there. Here I'm pointing to the area where the bracket was at. Then I decided to take off the cap connector, which you're seeing here. So it looks like they gang them together. You can see that it's bust. Move back a little bit, see if it'll focus. So those 4 pins and these 5 pins. The 3 on this side. Maybe 3 in the middle. 3 on the right. There. Possibly. So this is their way, I guess, of bypassing the 360. Man, where would it be? If those are there, and I just can't really see it, maybe? Where would those 4 cables be? I noticed some more stowed connectors shoved up behind the dash. So I'm trying to shove the camera up here, see if I can get a good visual on it with the camera, since I can't seem to see it without taking apart more of the dash. And you'll see it here briefly, just for a really slow second. I'll slow it down for you in just a second, and you'll see that there are some more connectors that are stowed right there. Here I am back again, and I'm going to slow it down. You can see right there, it's taped, and there are connectors. At this point, I'm starting to wonder if they're for options or they are just junction connectors. Since there's so many of them, I can't imagine they would have so many options not being used. At this point, I was on a mission to start tearing out the center console so I could get a better view of those connectors that were cap and stowed. And yeah, I pulled out everything just to shove my camera up in there in a different way. these cables here, different colors, and to the telematics. But what? Green is missing on that one, obviously. So I just don't know if it's audio or not. It's just this big ass bundle here, and then there's definitely more. I can't even see. If I could just see some colors of wires, I could probably write them down or re-look at this video later and see if they match up with anything. But I see there's some yellow and blue wires. Really don't know what they're for yet. Alright, so fast forward, I purchased the parts, and about a week later they came in, and this is what I ordered, which was a heads-up screen and the multi-visor switch that has the HUD and tilt on it, and the normal items that an Aspec has. Alright, so now I'm switching phases here. I'm about to start pulling everything apart and documenting on how to install this HUD unit, so I get to start all over and be more detailed this time. For the HUD install, we need to gain access to the HUD area, and in order to do that, we are going to need to remove this panel here, and then the panel all the way across here needs to be removed. So the start button, obviously all the wiring for the hazards and everything need to be disconnected. Then I'll pull the steering wheel out by using the automated button there. It'll come out a little bit further, which will give us a little bit of room to take this cover off. This top cover will come off. And then we'll start tugging and pulling on these to remove this area. And there's plastic from this under this one here, like in a triangular shape. Same thing on this side. There'll be some areas of plastic under this button here. Then the whole entire piece, this whole thing comes out with this plastic. There's also some, see if we can move the steering wheel out. There's material here, like a leather material behind here to keep the dust out. That area is coming off with this plastic area here. So it's all tied together, this whole top dash cover visor part with this comes out. And then you'll have room to put in the HUD up there. So we want to pull from this area here. Once you pull it, it'll come off, and then what I want to show you here is all of the clip area, everywhere it's clipped in. And then I'll show you this, the back side of it here, so you can see all the clips on top and bottom and how it comes out. And I'll do the same for the other side. Alright, so here we have on this side part of this, so this will be getting loose once I pull up on it. That's a part of this assembly, the upper assembly. Same thing with this side. I pulled out the dash enough. You can take it off completely. Probably is the smartest thing to do, so you're not fighting with it. So that's what you would be pulling off at this point. And then we'll pull this off as soon as I get this upper cover loose. And here we are now with the cover off, and you have access to the back of it, and you can still see the items I have disconnected and around, and then I'll swing around so you can see the wiring. So here we have the harness. You can see the connector right there and all the other harness wiring to the cluster, but I think we're going to be focusing on this connector right here and taking it off and connecting it to the HUD. You can also see right there the holes for the HUD. There's also some bracketry that's supposed to be there. I'll take a look at and see if I need it, or I can just use a simple L bracket. I'll check that out. So the secret menu for the hardware auto detect, ECU amplifier, Blu-ray player, and I see the HUD right there. So red is not connected. So if you scroll, you get to see all the other items that aren't connected. The scrolling is a little bit weird. You're actually having to hold, press, and move. It's not just a flick. In this diagnostics menu, it's a little bit different, so I'm going to try it. You press and move. So those are the ones connected. So this is the menu that I chose, the hardware auto detect. So I need to find one of the other ones that shows the layout block diagram. I wanted to gain access, so I removed the two top screws here for the gauge cluster so I can get my hand back here where the connector's at. I don't believe right now I need to disconnect these, so I'll leave them plugged in just so I could check out what's behind here. I already did before. I noticed that there's, you know, all these connections here for who knows what, but that's the heads up connector, I believe. So I'll take off that capped connector there and see if there's two of them. We'll just check it out. All right, so the connector fits this portion of it. So this is what it looks like with everything out. Here's the connector that I'm having an issue with, not being able to take off that capped portion of it for the HUD. I'm unsure. Another connector that is here. Don't know if I can show it or not. Is in there. If it would focus. It's right there. Wrapped up. I don't know what it's for. Also found some other connectors. I don't know if I can show it. There's a whole bunch. Let's see here, that one right there. Don't even know what that goes to. It's just sitting there. And there's another one tied in backwards. I didn't get anywhere that night. I put everything back together and I figured I needed to figure out the wiring. So I pulled in some favors and I was able to get some screenshots on the phone of some wiring. So I figured, why not just create a wiring diagram, a high-level block diagram, and then just try to visualize it a little bit better so I can understand what signals are coming from where And once I started seeing the wire diagrams, one of the photos that I noticed before, a light bulb went off for me, and I realized that there's more to it than just looking for a connector. There's some more items that are involved. This is the specific moment that I realized after watching my video again that my car did not contain the connection points I needed. Right, so here I have a schematic, and I kind of threw some junk in here. So I believe I can just grab this, and I can come up to place new device views, and view number 1. 0 is already used, and standard block. Yeah, I could do that. Standard block there. Generate all device block views. That's what I forgot to check. And then device designations. I think that's correct. So here you see that there's multiple connectors on the advanced model, while on the normal models we don't have it. And here is a picture of the heads-up display and the part numbers we would need to make it work. So pretty much, as I'm kind of noticing here, that there's really nothing that I can do, because we don't have the correct cluster for the HUD UART. At this point in time, I'm trying to figure out whether or not I could MacGyver something together, possibly use the main connector inside the cluster, find one of the pinouts here that has these communication signal names, and just splice into it and take it to the heads-up display. But as you can see here, I've posted the pinouts for the main terminal number for the cluster, and it doesn't look like there's any HUD UART information going in to then come out of the connector that's blanked off, as you can see from the image. So I kind of lost faith in this whole thing. I know I purchased the parts probably earlier. I used my I guess idea or first videos of inside the dash. I figured that the engineers would have done max configuration, one interior cabin or dash harness that had all of the options available for all of the models, which would make sense, so that way you could offer your customers everything they need to upgrade. But I was wrong. It looked like a lot of these capped connectors that are stowed away are just junction locations. And so I was kind of fooled into thinking that that connector being right there by the HUD was the right one. And yeah, I made a big mistake there that I couldn't really get around.
So I'm labeling this one as a failure. I'm sure there could be some sort of way to take any of these, communication lines, these F cans or B cans, and somehow turn it into the HUD UART, since the multifunction display in the center dash is already displaying a lot of the navigation, turn signals, and tire pressure monitor and all those types of things in there. I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard or that much further work to convert it, but I just don't want to spend the time to do it. So here's when I want to give my feedback for Acura and Honda. The Aspec owners really got gypped. We don't want the chrome. We wanted the sportiness, but we also wanted the top tier items. We don't want to have to jump up to an advanced model to get the items that we want, paying $63,000 or more for an Aspec and not getting what we want. I mean, here he's talking about the chrome trim and the wheels and everything. For the Aspec owners, we wanted something sporty. We wanted, say, dark wheels. We didn't want chrome. We don't want silver. And we're getting gypped on that. And the options that they offer us, you can add in remote start. We should be getting it. Here he's pointing to the mirrors. We should be getting 360-degree camera on a $60,000+ vehicle. He's talking about like curbing your wheels, how it can help you prevent that. We don't even get that option for the Aspec. And he's going to be talking about like the kick sensor and opening the back. That's like a useless one. That's something that the Aspec owners can add on. It's useless. We don't need that one. The useful stuff would have been the 360-degree camera like I had in my 2011 BMW, and it's not even offered in an Acura in 2022, 2023. So kind of useless. I would have thought the designers or the coordinators would have gotten something together, figured out that they could save money by just having one interior part number for the harnesses. Their suppliers would have been happier. Only having one part number to make, it would have been really quick. And the turnaround time, especially with all the supplier issues, trying to make different part numbers and having different form boards and all that kind of stuff for different harnesses takes a long time. You could just have it plugged in. The whole dash harness could be all the same. You could just be plugging in everything and no issues across 4 models. You have a base, a tech, an Aspec, and an advanced. I see that some of the harnesses are similar in some aspects, but other ones they're not. So that's just my feedback, is that maybe in the future you guys will combine it and make it more things plug and play, so that way people can be happier with it and not have to sell their car or change brands because you don't offer more dealership upgrades easily. And it's a shame that it can't be done. Things can't be retrofitted in very easily.